On the 7th of June 2022, while addressing the nation, Ugandan President remarked that the country had attained a middle income status based on the statistics recorded earlier this year.
The entrance point for the lower middle income status is US dollars 1,036. We have now passed that figure. Congratulations.
According to the World Bank, Uganda's economy is nowhere close to middle income status and has not yet attained the figures that mandate any middle income country. In this fact check, we seek to find out what it means to be a middle income country and, based on data and statistics, is Uganda a middle income country? Welcome, my name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. We have Mr. Francis Mohire, an economist and lecturer at Makerere University Business School, to help demystify and elaborate on this issue. First, what does it mean to be a middle income country?
The classification doesn't actually mean that the country is, let's say, doing well in terms of development or happiness. And this is where people normally get it wrong. They think, for example, if you've been a low income country and now you've been promoted or upgraded to whether it's lower or upper middle income, that doesn't mean that the country is doing well in terms of development or happiness. According to World Bank, its classification is based on some kind of measurements, and which is per capita income. So per capita income, it can be GDP per capita income or GNI per capita income. So, but according to World Bank, for it uses GNI or gross national income. Now, gross national income refers to the total, amount of income, earned by residents of the country, both within the country and outside the country, plus their businesses. So it just looks at that inflow of incomes for a period of time, which is a year. Whereas gross domestic product, this refers to the market value of goods and services produced within a country by both residents and foreigners, or by both, for the case of Uganda, by both Ugandans and non-Ugandans. Now, gross domestic product is very easy to compute because you're just capturing the economic activities output within the boundaries of the country. Whereas for GNI, it is a bit complicated and very expensive. That's why it's done by World Bank, not individual countries. Because you can imagine if you're to compute Uganda's gross national income, Ugandans are everywhere. We've seen some Ugandans stranded in Sri Lanka. So Ugandans are everywhere. You need to capture their incomes, earnings, their business. Even you have to go to North Korea, all over the world.
President Museveni and the Uganda Bureau of Statistics are sure that we are middle income now, but the World Bank reiterates that we are not yet there. Let's understand both these perspectives and where they derive their conclusions.
UBOS came out and, of course, informed the president that here we are. We have achieved, or we are in position to qualify as a middle income economy because our gross domestic product has grown from 28 billion US dollars in 2019 to 45.7 billion US dollars as of today. So, how do you compute for per capita income? In this case, GDP per capita income being used by the Ugandan government. You use two variables, or you get the ratio of two variables, which is gross domestic product and the population size. Population size, according to UBOS, the estimates are showing that today it stands at around 43 million. So when you get 45 billion US dollars and divide by 43 million people, you're going to get that 1,046 US dollars, which puts you into a middle income country or status. As opposed to World Bank's approach, which uses gross national income and then divides by the population. Now, there is a problem because while UBOS is estimating that our population stands at 43 million, World Bank is saying, yes, the economic activity has been growing, the economy has been increasing in terms of gross domestic product, but the population has also been increasing at the same rate. Therefore, population estimates for Uganda stands at 47 million. You already see the difference. Yeah. Uganda notes 43 million. World Bank notes 47 million. So even if World Bank was to use GDP, still would see the difference. So that is the only difference, and that is the challenge.
President Museveni is using the GDP per capita method to assert that Uganda is a middle-income state, whereas the World Bank is using the GNI per capita method to disagree with the latter. Let's understand the different variables involved in achieving middle-income status. 1. The levels of happiness and satisfaction of the people. 2. The gold exports. 3. The thriving income inequalities among Ugandans. And lastly, the debt burden. Uganda's debt is standing at $19.54 billion as we speak. Just for clarity, can any president of any nation declare his or her country to have attained a middle-income status?
When it comes to classification of economies, it's done by the World Bank, not by countries themselves. It is the World Bank that sets the standards for one to become either middle income or upper or developed economy or lower economy. And for you to attain a middle income status, you don't just get it like if you hit it in the first year. You do not declare yourself as middle income status. You have to take it for at least 2 years, 2 to 3 years to sustain it. Then you can declare yourself middle income status.
Okay. Here are the facts. The World Bank is the only designated authority to declare any country as a middle-income country, and attaining middle-income status cannot be determined in the short term. There has to be intentional investment in the productive sectors of the country. More resources have to be allocated in the mining sector as well as the education sector so that the labor force is skilled enough. We could also make capital more accessible by reducing the interest rates of commercial banks and the central bank as well. If all this and more is done, Uganda will practically be a middle-income country in the future. In conclusion, using the GDP per capita formula, President Museveni would actually be right to assert that Uganda is a middle-income country. But using the GNI per capita formula, Uganda is not yet a middle-income country. Please follow us on our social media platforms at The Debunk Show. And in case you have any claims that you would want to be fact-checked for you, feel free to send them using our Debunk bot number and we'll do the necessary. My name is Edgar. Stay verified.